Good afternoon. Will staff please confirm quorum?
President Huddleston.
Here.
Past President Winnick.
Present.
Director Altamirano.
Present.
Director Prince.
Here's
Director Brooks.
present.
And quorum is present.
A quorum is present. The July 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Strategic Housing Finance Corporation Board of Directors is hereby called to order at 1:32. We will now move on to agenda item 2, citizen communication. Do we have any registered speakers?
We do.
I now recognize Executive Director Dianna Gray for the report.
So this will be quite brief, directors. I think, as you may recall, we made a change actually last month in which we adopted charters that indicate that we will now present financial information to the board quarterly, and so that will happen next month with a look back at the first 2 quarters of the year. In terms of the calendar and reminders, I would just point out one item of interest here is that while we have not had full confirmation yet, we have been tentatively told that Travis County will interview prospective directors on July 14th. So we are hopeful that we will be welcoming a new board member in August, and if not, very soon thereafter. So before we move on the agenda, I think I just want to say that today is really exciting for staff, and I hope for the board. You may reflect that it has been a while since we have brought new MOUs to the board for approval. And that is a function both of the difficult market conditions that we and our partners have experienced, and also of some legislative changes on the workforce side. So today, you'll be considering 3 partnership requests. A couple of them may be a little familiar, and staff will certainly give you the background there. But importantly, one of the ways that we've been able to move some of these projects forward is by the deployment of our Housing Production Fund. And so today, we will bring the first 2 requests for loans from the Housing Production Fund for your consideration. We're very excited about all 3 of these deals, and I'm happy to report that should these projects be approved, we would actually meet our strategic aim goal for the year today. With that, I will we can move along or answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Director Gray? Thank you for the report. We will now move on to item 4, the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the following item: approval of minutes from the June 4th regular meeting. Are there any requests from directors to remove an item from the consent agenda for separate consideration? Hearing no objections, the consent agenda is approved. We will now move to voting items. 5A, Runberg Flats Apartments amended MOU, and 5B, Runberg Flat Apartments approval letter of a $5 million loan. Agenda items 5A and 5B are for the same project, Runberg Flats. Vice President Groves will introduce the resolutions on behalf of the Real Estate Committee. The staff will present on both items. After the presentation, we will consider each item separately. Vice President Groves, you have the floor to introduce items 5A and 5B.
Great, thank you. So these 2 items relate to Runberg Flats in partnership with Elmington Affordable. This would be our 5th project with Elmington. Runberg Flats is a 199-unit tax credit project located near Runberg in North Lamar. Items 5A would authorize the execution of an amended and restated MOU between Strategic HFC and Elmington to enter into a partnership for the project, in which Strategic would serve as a general partner. Item 5B would approve the execution of a letter of intent for Strategic HFC to provide a $5 million loan from the Housing Production Fund to support the project. The Real Estate Committee has met multiple times on each of these action items, and we recommend adoption of both resolutions. With that, I invite staff to present.
Excellent. I want to acknowledge that Dianna McGee is with us today from Elmington, visiting us from Houston. So we appreciate that. All right, here you go. Jackson Mabry from our real estate team.
Good afternoon. Just noting that the two Runberg items will be presented together, but are separate voting items. Let's see. But yes, we do have our guest here, Dianna McGee from Elmington Affordable. Should be a familiar face, having partnered with Strategic on 4 other projects. Elmington is based in Nashville, Tennessee. They're a vertically integrated developer, and they have lots of experience developing affordable multifamily. So here is a look at the project. Runberg Flats should also be familiar to some members. For context, the original 2024 MOU is set to expire. The deal economics have shifted, and Strategic's term sheet has changed. So this new amended and restated MOU reflects this updated project, some partnership changes, and with some of the older MOU terms kept, but most of the terms being brought up to date. This would be a new construction bond 4% light tech deal, and 199 units in total with a mix of 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom floor plans. Those being affordable to residents making 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70% of area median income. All right, so here is a look at the proposed site. Staying zoomed out, it is in North Austin off of Runberg Lane. And this would be Strategic's first project west of I-35 and north of the river. Zooming in, let's see. It is in a mature info corridor. We have a mix of neighborhood, retail, and office, established residential uses. Right outside, there are 2 high-frequency Cap Metro Transit bus stops next to the property. That is on Route 325, less than 1/10 of a mile. It's well positioned to proximity to schools. It's adjacent to an elementary school and a mile from a middle and high school. And there's also an HEB and community care health center within a half mile of the site, along with 2 shopping centers and a child daycare center within a half mile. All right, so here's a more detailed look at the affordability and bedroom mix. You can see that there is deep affordability on this project, with units affordable to 30, 40, and 50% of area median income. And about half the units are 3-bedroom units. And this, along with its quality location, has contributed to a high Strategic AIM score. That's our internal strategic affordability impact metric. This high number of bedrooms, the deep affordability, and its proximity to nearby desirable amenities, including the high-frequency transit stop right outside the property. All right, so here's just a quick snapshot of what those MOU fee terms are set to look like for Strategic. There's a 25% share of developer fee where available, an annual ground lease payment, a general contractor fee, and a 25% share of sale or refinancing proceeds. That would be net of transaction costs, outstanding debt, and the replenishment of replacement reserves. 2 exceptions here to point out. We are honoring the old initial ground lease amount at $75,000. And we're also on this deal rolling construction monitoring fee into the GC fee, and that's why it's a little bit higher than what we would see typically for you. All right, some additional context just with the expected timeline. And this deal in 2024, the board approved both a bond inducement in March and then an MOU approval in September later that year. Now that this deal has been revitalized, we did induce for bonds once again in April of this year. And the rest of this chart, kind of towards the bottom, is showing what a hypothetical Q1 of 2027 construction close would look like. And the remainder of the timeline would project that this project begin leasing in 2028 and would target stabilization in 2029. So, just kind of in conclusion for this MOU, staff does believe that this project meets our policy goals, that the MOU terms largely align with our expectations, and we're acknowledging we've taken this project through our established underwriting process, with the MOU receiving approval at our real estate committee last month. So the board actions that we're recommending today, we're recommending that the board authorize the execution of this amended and restated MOU. Also that we can go ahead and form the related entities that would be fully owned by the corporation and that would participate in this partnership, as well as authorization to proceed with the drafting of all related partnership documents, of course, given that they're in alignment with the terms within the MOU. And just a reminder, there is a good chance, the board would see this deal again before final close. We have to come back for final bond and partnership document approval. All right, separate action item, same presentation. I'm now going to zoom in on the Housing Production Fund request associated with this deal. And just for a little bit of background about the Housing Production Fund, this was established by the board in November of 2024. And then in 2025, it was fully capitalized to its $15 million target. And then later that year, the board did approve some lending guidelines in December. And just a reminder, there is, maybe the Director of Finance can speak to this a little bit more, but there is a way for it to be replenished through repayment of some of Strategic's other revenue that will be coming in. But just a reminder about what those guidelines that were approved are. These are to approve soft money loans to be made from the Housing Production Fund. These loans will be repayable through available cash flow or proceeds from sales and refinancings. The amounts authorized may be made up to $5 million with a term no more than 17 years. And the interest rate has to be at least comparable to Strategic HFC's investment account return. Also, that staff are to prioritize projects that maximize strategic gain. So for Runberg Flats, this would be the first HPF approval. They are, Elmington is seeking $5 million to close a financing gap. And just to paint a picture of what that looks like relative to the rest of the fund, there are currently $15 million available in funds. With this $5 million ask, that would leave $10 million remaining. Also point out that there are $4 million in other pending HPF requests. So if both projects were approved and funded, that would leave $6 million remaining in the fund, not to mention the other sources that would be replenishing the fund in the future. All right, so here's a snapshot of what Elmington is projecting for the budget of Runberg Flats. The project would be about $68 million. With their current projected financing sources, that leaves a $5 million gap. And I will point out for deferred developer fee, they are currently projecting to have to defer 88% of their developer fee just to get within $5 million. We'll look at a summary of the terms within this letter of intent. So the loan amount, once again, $5 million. The interest rate is 5%, and that was awarded based on the amount requested plus their AIM score. This would be funded at construction close or at partnership land acquisition. The loan term, 17 years. This is tied to the expected timeline of a LifeTech project with 2 years of construction and then the initial 15-year compliance period, so 17 years in total. and repayment. So this will be made out of operating cash flow, sale, or refinancing events. Do want to mention that this would be paid after deferred developer fee and other strategic fees. It's very important for the deal that deferred developer fee be paid off before year 15. And so to ensure this, we've put that above repayment of HPF in the waterfall. Strategic also would be receiving a share of developer fees, so we're okay with HPF coming lower in the cash flow waterfall, and don't expect any significant payout until a sale or refi event. All right. Given that this is cash flow dependent and would come after repayment of deferred developer fee and other fees, this is just kind of a rough estimate of when we can expect these funds to be paid back, and this is just based on some of the developer's performance assumptions provided, so on rent, operating expenses, and permanent financing terms. So about 9 years from lease up. But yeah, in conclusion, regarding HPF, this is a necessary component for this deal to close. This is an existing prospective deal that stalled out due to the financing gap, but in the letter of intent, it does meet all of the loan term guidelines. It's going to be payable through available cash flow. It's at the $5 million limit and the 17-year loan term limit. And we do believe that this funding would contribute meaningfully to housing affordability and quality as measured by strategic aim. So the action we are recommending today is that the board authorize staff to execute a letter of intent for a $5 million loan from Strategic HFC's housing production funds to the Runberg Flats project. Another caveat on this is this would have to come back after Strategic and Elmington draft and finalize all the related loan documents. But that is the conclusion of these two voting items.
Great, thank you, Jackson. Any questions from my fellow board members?
I just want to call on any of my colleagues in real estate who may wish to add any comments or who want to illustrate any questions that came up and answers that were answered in committee.
Dianna, can you remind me what the hard cost per unit and the soft cost per unit are?
So our hard cost on this, we're looking at about.
Here we are.
There we go. Yeah, so there you go right there. So I knew all in is about $340,000 per door. And the hard cost number of about $200,000 per door. That's just based on the type of building that we're doing. I think a lot of the other developments that we've done together, they're all 3-story kind of walk-up garden style type developments. And this one, in order for us to get the density that we needed and have enough space for parking, we actually had to go elevator buildings. So that elevator is, adds a little premium to the development that we haven't seen in some of the other developments that we've had to do.
Do you want to give the board an overall overview of the development?
Yeah, so Runberg Flats, 199 unit multifamily deal, west of 35 off of Runberg and North Lamar. Excited about the site, really for location. I think we've all seen just in the market how tough it's been leasing up a lot of developments here in the East Austin, kind of Northeast Austin corridor. This is one of the only deals that we see west of 35, one. I think two, and that's shown in our demand from our capture rates of a market study. Granted, it's a little old, but our market study showed a capture rate of about 3 or 4%. That translates to we can build 20 of these in this area and still lease up. That's how strong the demand is there. From a comparability and comp standpoint, most of the stuff over there was built 70s, 80s, maybe some rehab jobs done, but the beauty of the tax credit program is that you've got significant oversight, not only from the state level, obviously we'll have it at the city level as we are smart housing development as well, and then obviously we've got the strategic team and that oversight that'll be taking place through the construction monitoring fee that'll be paid out as part of the partnership. So something else I think that's unique to this deal, I think you've all seen the quality and the type of product that we build and the amenities from the pools to the lease-up spaces, and dog park will be at this site. But this site also has about 2,000 square feet of what we're calling flex space, but it will be built out, set up as a white box for commercial space as well. So hoping that, and in conversations with the group, I believe TES Holdings is the name of the firm, to set aside hopefully some commercial retail, some local neighborhood retail for residents. You got a church that'll be across the street sharing a drive with us, and we've got the school that'll be next to the site as well. So we're excited to be that side of 35.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I have had a property in this pocket in my portfolio before, and it was 1970s, and just the surrounding comps, to speak to what Donnell said, are very old and in desperate need of capital improvement. So I think something new going in this pocket where there's definitely a need for it is wonderful. Is there anyone else? Yes, Jen.
I just had a question. I really appreciate you bringing up the issue of the HPF replenishment, but I know that at this point on your slides there's no plan on that. I just wonder if Finance Director wants to address that in any way, and feasibility, how long it would take to replenish what you see and are projecting for that.
Sure, I can speak a little bit about Housing Production Fund and board designated funds generally. When we have excess revenue in any given year, we have certain thresholds that we seek to maintain in our unallocated operating cash. Once those are met, we move into board designated fund waterfalls, starting with the operating reserve, portfolio fund, and then housing production fund is the last one there. So it's a slower fund to build, but certainly is incorporated in our structure. As excess revenue is available, it moves through the funds in that order.
Any forecast on replenishing this?
You know, we have not yet prepared our future year revenue projections, and I think once we are in a place to report on those, I'll be in a much better place to make predictions about fund replenishment, since they'll be tied into those revenue projections.
Any concerns about the ability to forecast a replenishment?
I think just reiterating that it is currently at the bottom of the board designated fund waterfall. No concerns or red flags. It's something that I think will build back slowly, but it's a fund that we currently have. It's fully funded. It's ready to go, and I know that we'll be able to replenish it ultimately.
Thank you.
A quick comment to add to Katie's feedback is that the tax credit projects do have a longer repayment period for the reasons that Jackson explained related to the developer fee. Should we make loans out of Housing Production Fund for workforce or mixed income housing, the repayment timeline is likely to be shorter. Secondarily, I would say the likeliest way for us to replenish Housing Production Fund is the same way we funded it in the first place, which is that we periodically have restructuring of projects in our portfolio that generate infrequent but not, non-trivial amounts of cash. And so, right now our operating fund and our portfolio fund are also fully funded. So should that occur, it would go straight into the Housing Production Fund. I don't know if we'll get back up to the total 15 million in the near future, but we see funds coming from a variety of sources.
Do you see on the horizon one of those events coming up that might capitalize? Yeah.
Yes. So Cambridge Villas, and as you know, the outcome. There are many sort of dynamics at play with that repositioning, but when we sort of took our best guess at what that would look like, I think Alex and I last year thought it was probably in the $4 to $5 million range.
Thank you.
Yes, Director Rhodes.
I would just add a comment that I think in terms of the replenishment I envision that this fund is a bit cyclical as it relates to the market, right? So the idea of it was to unstick projects and the current economic conditions, and I think as conditions improve, hopefully we see smaller requests, or so I think it's ebb and flow is how I kind of see it happening over time. I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but theoretically, I think that's why we're seeing the requests that we are for these 4% deals in the current market.
And for our, I'm sorry, but for our development for Runberg Flats, the only thing I'd like to add, I think we've underwritten fairly conservatively. We're not underwriting max rents at all in this market. And so there is indeed upside that potential, let me say potential upside, right? By the time we lease up, if there is that correction in the market and we can get to our max rents, that can lead to a significant change in the capital stack. So getting to deferred developer fee faster, getting the ground lease payments faster, which gets to the housing production fund faster, cash, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a snowball effect. So we're painting as real of a picture currently as we can, with obviously the hopes that maybe tax credit pricing is a little bit better, interest rates, I'm not gonna hold my breath, but maybe we get a little bit of relief there, and more importantly, the market recovers so that our cash flow for the deal is better. So I hope that would be I believe that would be beneficial to the board and strategic as a team overall.
Any further questions? Great. Let's see. We will now move on to voting. This item, we'll now consider voting item 5A. This item is a resolution to authorize the execution of an amended and restated MOU among the corporation Elmington Affordable LLC and ADJOURNMENT LP in connection with the acquisition, financing, and development of Runberg Flats Apartments. Is there a motion? Director Winnick. Director Jan. Is there a second?
Second.
Director Groves. I will now open the floor for questions and discussions. Any further questions and discussions?
You have a hand.
Director Winnick.
This is a discussion that is about the coupling of A and B together, and just a little historical context that I wanted to provide as one of the veterans on the board, that it was way back in 2023 that our board, under a different configuration when we didn't have current staff, which has been a brilliant and innovative change for our enterprise, we first brought up the idea as a board of what a housing production fund could mean in countercyclical times, and looked at the model that you'll see in a resolution from August of 2023 on social housing, and why we were interested in perhaps piloting social housing and getting our hands on a structure of creating a housing production fund and juicing these deals. It took 3 years to get here, but it was really well worth it. And I just want to thank the current staff and all of the board members involved in real estate for getting us to this place, because this is a celebratory moment for sure. I think way back in 2023, and I speak to now Director Prince and Director Altamirano about this, I don't know if we could have envisioned how completely prepared we would be and how greatly funded we would be to be able to do something like this for partners like Elmington and others, but it's a long time in the making. Really, really excited, really, really happy about this. So I just wanted to put that context on there and thank all those who brought us through to this place. Yeah, it was visionary, it's innovative, and it's something that the market really needs and our partners really need. Yeah.
Thank you, Director Winnick. Any further comments? Hearing none, the discussion is closed. We will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
I gave you a chance. You could have said something.
All those opposed? No. The motion carries. Great. We will now consider voting item 5B. This item is a resolution to approve the letter of intent between of the corporation and Elmington Affordable LLC in connection with an anticipated 5 million. I said 5 million.
Oh, I wish.
Loan of the corporation's housing production funds to ECG Runberg LP in connection with the acquisition, financing, and development of Runberg Flats apartments. The chair will now entertain a motion. Is there a motion? Director Winning, is there a second? Director Groves? It has been moved and seconded that the board approve voting item 5B. The motion before us is to approve the resolution as presented. I will now open the floor for questions. Any questions? I will now open the floor for discussion. Any comments? All right. Hearing none, the discussion is closed. We will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. The motion carries.
Wow.
Appreciate the partnership. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Right, agenda items 5C and 5D are for the same project, Verbena Flats. Director Altamirano will introduce the resolutions on behalf of the Real Estate Committee. Staff will then present on both items. After the presentation, we will proceed to consider each item separately. Director Altamirano, you have the floor to introduce items 5C and 5D.
Hello. Agenda items 5C and 5D are for the same project, Verbena Flats, which I call the tax credits one with Journeyman in South Austin. 5C is indeed a partnership with JCI, which you may also know as Journeyman. The proposal is our first approved MOU with Journeyman. We previously undertook bond inducements. With item 5C, we would authorize the execution of an amended and restated MOU between Strategic and JCI to enter into a partnership for the project. We would be the GP. This is a 328 unit tax credit project in South Austin on West Slaughter Lane. It is an AIM star that also helps with diversifying our submarkets. Now, as for item 5D, we would approve the execution of a letter of intent for Strategic HFC to provide a $4 million loan from the HPF to support the project. Let's quickly talk about the 3 Ps. On policy, this is a clear winner with high aim and portfolio diversification. Getting this going with the HPF fits into our big play on trying to help the affordable rental market have a soft landing as builders pull back due to the current apartment glut and the macro environment's impact on cost of capital. On partner, this is a partner that many of you know I have been excited to work with because of the reputation of construction quality. On process, the Real Estate Committee has met multiple times on this. We recommend adoption of both resolutions, and now I will go back to muting myself and ask staff to give you the nitty-gritty details in their presentation for these items. Thank you.
All right.
And I just want to first say we've got Sam Kumar, president of JCI, with us today. We'll answer questions at the end of the presentation.
Thank you. Yes. Acknowledging our guest from Journeyman Group. Journeyman is based locally here in Austin, Texas. Vertically integrated developer with their own property management and construction arm. And yeah, they have lots of experience developing affordable multifamily here in Austin. So, the project that we're talking about today is Verbena Flats. This one is located in South Austin at 1017 West Slaughter Lane. It is a new construction bond 4% LIHTC deal. There are 328 units currently proposed for this deal. It's a mix of studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedroom floor plans. And they will be affordable to those earning 30, 40, 50, and 60% of area median income. Once again, we'll take a look at just where exactly this proposed site is in relation to the rest of Strategic's existing portfolio. This one would be south, as mentioned, and west of I-35. It's about 7.5 miles south of downtown, about 8.5 miles west of the Austin Bergstrom International Airport. And to zoom in, this one's also very nearby to 2 high-frequency Cap Metro Transit bus stops right next to the property on Slaughter Lane. These are well positioned just for proximity to schools, being within half a mile to both Casey Elementary School and Paredes Middle School, with Aikens High School within 2 miles. As far as grocery options, HEB is within a mile of the site off of 135, and this does have an interesting recreation component, being about a mile from Mary Moore Seawright Metropolitan Park, which will give residents access to over 300 acres of trails and other public facilities. All right, we'll zoom in, get some details on the affordability and bedroom mix. You'll notice that there's no AMI restriction higher than 60% of AMI. The development will consist of predominantly 2-bedroom units, with the rest mostly being studios and 1-bedrooms, but it does feature some 3-bedroom units as well. And taking a look at what this does to our strategic affordability impact metric, it produces a very high score due to the high number of bedrooms at 328 units. This is a large development, with most being 2-bedroom units. And couple that with deep affordability, 30s, 40s, 50s, and nothing above 60% AMI, plus its proximity to some desirable amenities like the high-frequency transit stop, you're left with a relatively high strategic AIM score. All right, so what does the timeline look like for this? Journeyman acquired the site in 2021. Currently, the project holds an active site development permit with a building permit in progress. The board induced this project for bonds in May of this year. And with a targeted Q1 2027 construction close, this is what the remainder of the timeline would project to. We'd begin leasing in late 2028 and then targeting a stabilization in late 2029 or perhaps early 2030. All right, and once again, here's a summary of the economics provided to Strategic by our MOU terms. Once again, there's a 25% share of developer fee when available. There is an initial ground lease of $150,000. The general contractor fee is standard term sheet $1,200 per unit, and Strategic would once again receive a 25% share of sale and refi proceeds, net of transaction costs, outstanding debt, and replenishment of replacement reserves. So to summarize our conclusion on this project and this MOU, we do believe that this project meets our policy goals, the MOU terms align with our expectations, and that we've taken this project through our established underwriting process, with the MOU receiving approval from the Real Estate Committee last month. So today we are recommending that the board authorize the execution of an MOU with Journeyman Group for the corporation's participation in Verbena Flats. We also recommend that the board authorize the formation of 4 LLCs to be fully owned by Strategic HFC to participate in the project as general partner, ground lessor, co-developer, and general contractor. We also recommend that the board authorize Strategic to proceed with the drafting of all related partnership documents, provided that once again there'll be in alignment with our terms in the MOU. And we'll remind the board that this deal will also have to come back for final approval for bonds and the partnership docs. All right, and continuing on to the next voting item, the Verbena Flats Housing Production Fund request. This one being for $4 million, and putting that back in context, out of the $15 million, that would leave 11, but now if Runberg Flats were to close and be funded, in addition to that, that's another $5 million, so that would leave $6 million left in the fund, not acknowledging the replenishment that will also be coming. So here's a look at the project budget from the developer. This one projects to be nearly $90 million, and with the current financing sources, the developer is projecting a $4 million gap. We'll go over the terms here in the letter of intent. So the $4 million amount, the 5% interest rate awarded based on the amount requested, and also the AIM score achieved. This one will be funded at construction close. Once again, a 17-year note amortized over the same period as senior debt, and repayment would be from operating cash flow or the proceeds from a sale or refinancing event. All right, and with this one, same thing. This is based on the terms and roughly based on just some assumptions provided by the developer regarding performance, but we would look at principal and interest being paid off by year 11. And once again, this is a deal that would not happen without this HPF funding, without this soft money loan. It also meets all the other requirements established by the guidelines that were approved in December. So this would be repayable through cash or sale refi proceeds. It's within the $5 million loan amount limit, and the loan term is within the 17-year limit. And and we've presented this to REC. So today, our recommended action for this voting item is to authorize staff to execute this LOI for a $4 million loan of the Strategic Housing Production Funds to the Urbana Flats project. That concludes my presentation.
Great. We'll now consider voting item 5C. This is a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the corporation and JCI Apartments LP in connection with the acquisition, financing, and development of Urbana Flats. The chair will now entertain a motion. Is there a motion? Director Groves. Is there a second? Director Prince. It has been moved and seconded that the board approve voting item 5C. The motion before us is to approve the resolution as presented. I will now open the floor for questions. Would you like to tell us about your project?
Absolutely. Directors, thank you so much for having me here again. We are so excited about bringing this project to y'all in Southwest Austin, which we all know is a good location, great location. 328 units. The site was originally permitted for 450 units, so that is a very dense site. But because of the conditions that we are in, we kind of changed course. Instead of doing it as a workforce housing project, we said this does well as a low-income housing tax credit project, and we brought it as a LIHTC project. So we reduced the number of units to 328 on the same site and made it less dense. And we're able to reduce the price on the site and make it a workable project. And we worked with staff to come up with some very good AMI mix for the families that are going to be renting here. About a third of the units are going to be less than 50% AMI, reserved for 50% AMI families. So we're very proud of that. This is the first time we've done a third of the units like that, below 50%. So in Southwest Austin, to put a project like this in place with a lot of affordability options for our families is a great thing. So we are very excited about that. The site is, the address is 1017 Slaughter Lane. So if y'all know where Manchac hits Slaughter, and it's about a quarter mile from Manchac. And then I would probably say about a mile from South First going west. So it's closer to Manchac than to South First. Great location. We are very excited to be bringing this project. It's 850 units average. We wanted to keep everything under 60%. We wanted to make sure that the taxpayer money and the housing production fund money is well spent in giving out rental discounts for the families. So it is a little bit slightly expensive project, primarily because of the land available. We will have to build a parking garage, and it is going to be a wrap style project where the units are wrapping around the parking garage. So it makes a better amenity for the residents because you have safety and security, and you have a covered parking garage. So that, in a sense, it's going to be Class A apartments all the way. We'll have granite or quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, darker cabinets. We'll have great amenity spaces, a pet wash station. It'll be primarily stucco and a little bit of siding. Very modern looking project. So we're very excited about the project.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Questions? All right. Let's see. I will now open the floor for discussion. Is there any discussion on the project? Great. Awesome. Hearing none, the discussion is closed. We will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion carries.
Thank you.
We will now consider voting item 5D. This item is a resolution to approve the letter of intent between the corporation and JCI Apartments LP in connection with the anticipated $4 million loan to the corporation's housing production funds to the Verbena Flats project owner in connection with the acquisition, financing, and the development of Verbena Flats. The chair will now entertain a motion. Is there a motion? Director Winning, is there a second? Director Prince? It has been moved and seconded that the board approve voting item 5D. The motion before us is to approve the resolution as presented. I will now open the floor for questions. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we will now open the floor for discussion. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, the discussion is closed. We will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The motion carries.
Yay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great location.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Down there yesterday.
Voting item 5E relates to the Skyview Lost Development. Vice President Groves will introduce the resolutions on behalf of the Real Estate Committee, followed by staff presentations. Vice President Groves, you have the floor to introduce item 5E.
Great. So this item relates to Skyview Lofts, which is an anticipated 326-unit workforce project located on North Lamar. Some of the longer tenured board members may remember that this project as Cambrian North Lamar, which was initially approved by the board in early 2024, so predates being done. The resolution, or this resolution authorizes the execution of an MOU with, is it pronounced BEFA Partners? Yes. BEFA. Okay. BEFA Partners that lays out terms for a partnership in which Strategic HFC would serve as general partner. The Real Estate Committee has reviewed this project and recommends adoption of the resolution. With that, I invite staff to present.
Yeah, and I just want to comment that we have the co-founders of BEFA Partners here, Bethany Fidel and Thomas Percy, with us as well to answer questions.
Welcome.
All right, take us away, Blair.
Hi, good afternoon. So, an overview on Skyview Loft. The project will locate at 5916 North Lamar Boulevard, and the developer partner is BEFA Partners. And as some board members may recall, and as we mentioned, it was first brought to us in 2024 as Cambrian North Lamar. And the developer entity was previously known as Cambrian Development, which they now known as BEFA Partners. And open to completions, the project will include a 5-story residential building with roughly 3,500 square foot of ground floor commercial space. And some planned on-site amenities will include multiple internal courtyards, a fitness center, co-working space, as well as a resort-style pool. And the project will offer a total of 326 residential units, featuring a mix of studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom mix, averaging around 704 square foot per unit. And a quick context on the MOU, the board previously approved an older version in 2024, which has expired as of last May. And since then, HB 21 has passed with new regulatory requirements, as well as our workforce term sheet has been updated. And so the new MOU that we bring before you today will reflect the project coming into compliance with HB 21, as well as our current partnership term sheet. And a little more background on the developer firm. So BEFA Partners is based in Austin, and they are led by Thomas Bursey and Bethany Fidel, who are currently here with us right now. And they have previously worked together at Bursey Chan Studio, which is an architecture urban planning firm that Thomas also co-founded in 2001. And they've since established Bursey Fidel as the developer's parent entity, a vertically integrated architecture and construction firm that focus on design and development of both multifamily and single-family residential projects. And I just want to quickly acknowledge that the firm's track record and recent experience has centered primarily on the architecture and design side. And with Skyview Lofts, the developer will be taking on a more substantial developer and construction oversight role as compared to their prior projects. That said, the team's most recent and relevant experience includes Camp Rian East Riverside, which is a project located in Austin, a 65-unit, 9% light tech project completed back in 2020, and they are the current owner and also previously served as the architect and developer. And from a location standpoint, we can see that the project is located also west of I-35, and so it will add meaningful diversification to our current existing portfolio, with our portfolio primarily set east of I-35 in northeast and southeast Austin area. And most notably, the proposed site falls within the transit-oriented corridor along the Project Connect Orange and Blue rail lines, and so this is also about half a mile away from the Highland commuter rail stations and within walkable distance from 5 bus routes. And it also has a very strong retail and service access along North Lamar and Burnett Road, and it also sits within 2 miles from the Triangle, as well as the Austin Community College Highland campus. And the project will also offer convenient employment access, with the project surrounded by a strong cluster of public sector, healthcare, and education employers within a 1 to 3 mile radius from the site. And it's also only about 15-minute drive from downtown Austin. And here is a snapshot of the unit and affordability mix for the project. And taking a closer look at the floor plans, you can see that the project includes one bedroom floor plan mix of majority of the project at 55%, followed by studios, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom respectively. And as required in our term sheet, 293 units will be set aside as affordable, representing 90% of the total units, and they will be restricted at 50, 60, 100, and 120% AMI levels. And the remaining 33 units will be unrestricted at market rates. And based on the proposed affordability and bedroom mix, as well as the project centralized locations, the project anticipates to produce an AIM score total of 3,240, which would contribute roughly 28% towards our 2026 target AIM. And here is the snapshot of the expected timeline for the project. And so Skyview Loft is shovel-ready with both site development and building permits received as of Q1 this year. And pending MOU approval, we have the assumed and anticipated closing and construction start dates provided on the screen. And leasing is expected to begin in November 2028, with the target stabilization date estimated to take around 36 months from closing. And currently, the estimated total development cost for the project is approximately $87.7 million, or about $269,000 per unit. And the current capital stacks contemplates approximately $71.8 million in senior construction loan financing, which represent 82% of the total cost, with the remaining 18% in required equity. And I would also like to note that the developer has engaged with our prospective lender/servicer, and they had received a preliminary term sheet for a HUD construction to perm loan to provide debt financing for the project. And here is a quick overview of the findings from the HB 21 directed assessment report. And the board members already know that the full assessment report is included in your board book for reference, but the key findings here would include the estimated annual rent reductions equaling at least 50% of the estimated ad valorem tax for the same tax year that would otherwise apply to the project. And as confirmed by the developer and outlined in the report, the project is meeting the affordability threshold with at least 10% of total units reserved at or below 50% AMI, and at least 40% at or below 100% AMI. And with that, here is a quick summary of our public benefit analysis. And we currently we estimate total rent savings to equal approximately 65% of the total abated tax value. And when combined with the estimated revenue to strategic, the project returns a public benefit score of 82%. And the developer has also claimed the maximum bonus points across all 6 eligible categories for the project. And so bringing the adjusted final public benefit ratio to 92%. And again, and I also want to note that the public benefit analysis here is separate from the HB 21 assessment report. Our analysis is using the developer's pro forma to estimate the rent reductions amount, whereas the HB 21 report is based on the difference between the market rents versus affordable rents. And here is a summary of the deal terms as outlined in our current in the MOU, and these terms align with our current term sheets requirements. And I just want to quickly call out the tax administration fee, which is simply our standard annual ground lease plus the partnership management fee, and combined to a single line item and grow 3% annually. And we structure it this way just to meet the HUD financing requirements, but the underlying values to reflect those standard workforce terms. And based on these agreed deal terms, here is a summary of the estimated total fee and revenue to strategic at closing year one, as well as over 15-year hold period. And finally, the project had completed their submissions of the pre-screen and formal applications. We had also went through the formal underwriting process for the project and received real estate committee approval to start negotiating and drafting an MOU. And as right now, the MOU as well as HB 21 report and related documents has been finalized for board approval. And on the mission criteria, the project meets our standard workforce term sheets as well as HB 21 regulatory requirements. And it also provides strong and retail and service access, proximity to transit and employment centers, which overall will support our core missions of increasing affordable housing in Travis County. And here's our recommended board actions. Staff recommends that the board authorize the execution of a memorandum of understanding and related partnership documents to facilitate strategic participations in the project, as well as approval from the board the project's eligibility for a tax exemption based on the findings in connection with Chapter 394.905, as well as the findings from the HB 21 assessment report. And lastly, we recommend board approval for the formations of 2 limited liabilities entities, each to be wholly owned by the corporations for strategic to participate in the proposed partnership for Skyview Lofts. And that concludes my presentations and recommended board actions. Happy to take any questions the board members may have for staff or for developers.
Thank you. Voting item 5E. We will now consider voting item 5E. This is a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the corporation EEFA Partners LLC in connection with the acquisition, financing, and development of Skyview Lofts. The chair will now entertain a motion. Is there a motion? Director Groves. Is there a second? Director Winnig. It has been moved and seconded that the board approve voting item 5E. The motion before us is to approve the resolution as presented. I will now open the floor for questions. Would you like to tell us about your project?
Well, first, I want to say thank you guys for working with us. It's kind of been a long road. This is now our second time. And now the project has a name, Skyview Lofts, not just North Lamar. So I really appreciate you, and you've been excellent. So the property is located at Old Koenig and North Lamar, right in between downtown, just north of UT, and then the Domain. It's right on the Project Orange Line, which we're hoping will happen sooner than later. But it's very connected through the Cab Metro as it currently stands. The Orange Line is planned to have a stop right in front of the property, so at that point, it'll be very connected. The project itself is it's two-story podium, so it has a parking garage. All of the leasing amenities and gym, etc., are within the podium structure. It does have 5 stories over that of the residential units that will hopefully have views of downtown, the ones facing south. And it has a small commercial component that we're carving out of the deal, and hopefully we'll have our office there. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I think that one of the aspects of design is important to us. That's how we started the firm. So we like to elevate design as much as we can. There's some aspect of the building that are also very important to us. So we are bringing some sustainability to the building, and we can have a 2-star rating with the Austin Green Building Program. And every time we can, we like to include more of this element. It's also a very walkable building, so we have extensive bike facilities and really expanding all of the sidewalks and landscaping, and so we're very excited about that aspect. Hopefully it merges well with the neighborhood and the community.
Great. Do any directors have any questions? Who did you say your property management partner is?
Yes, Franklin Management, and they manage about 20 projects in Central Texas, and we like the fact that they have strong HUD experience as well. So this is really helpful as far as our HUD consideration.
Great. Well, I'm very excited about the location of this. It's a very great area. Yes, Director.
I have a question. Could you speak a little bit to the unit mix at the property? So, I think there were a lot of 1-bedrooms. I'm just curious how your market study informed that, obviously. So maybe just speak a little bit to why that's appropriate for that area.
Yeah, I think that because of the urban nature of the project, this is a workforce deal, so we're really looking at maybe a younger demographic that would live there. The proximity to AC campus, UT campus also this is not a student housing project, but there would be probably more younger demographic in the project. So our market study that we initiated for HUD process with BBG really recommends a unit mix that focus on 1-bedrooms. That said, we really want that mixity of income and demographic, so that's why we also have some larger size unit and some efficiency, which are around 525 square feet, so they're quite urban, again, quite urban core project.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right. Let's see. No further questions. I will now open the floor for discussion. Is there any discussion from any of the directors?
Just a comment for staff. That was a great presentation. I really appreciated you pulling out the HB 21 compliance issues, and it was stellar. So thank you. That's why I have no questions.
All right, discussion is closed. We will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The motion carries.
All right. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
President Huddleston.
Yes.
I would like to tell you that I am very impressed and that you are within 3 minutes of your estimated
I'm doing
time.
good.
And so you can manage the rest of the agenda any way you want.
Great. We will go into your executive session.
I mean, if we're on time and we don't have to clear the room and all that, we might.
Yeah, let's go into the, yep. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now
Great job.
consider voting item 5F. This is the consideration and action to approve the housing market Data Report 2027 and Strategic Aim Goals. This item will be introduced by Director Altamirano on behalf of the Real Estate Committee, and a staff presentation will follow. Director Altamirano, you have the floor to introduce item 5F.
Thank you. This item is what makes our HFC the best HFC in Texas. This item approves the 2027 Housing Market Data Report. It acknowledges a revision to the strategic aim formula for 2027, making it easier to follow. And it adopts a strategic aim goal for 2027. As you know, we use AIM because it is befuddling to know what to prioritize. Using our intelligence and organizational will, we came up with a better way of figuring out that problem. And because we use it so much and we want to be rigorous, we use these tools so we can have a shared understanding of what we think is going to happen next year, how we evaluate ourselves, the executive director, and the staff. If you reviewed it, you also notice that there's a slight change to the formula to make it easier for us to discuss the target, to make the numbers more manageable. With all of that said, I think you know I'm very excited about the fact that we use this tool, and I will now let the staff present their tasty charts about it.
All right, thank you, Director Altamirano. So, as Director Altamirano said, there are multiple aspects of this presentation, so I'll give you the housing market data report. We will then talk about the goals as set under the current strategic aim formula, and then we'll go into strategic aim formula change, in which we'll talk about how that impacts the recommended 2027 goal. So the housing market data report, this was first started in 2025 at the request of the Real Estate Committee. The purpose of it is to keep Real Estate Committee and the board informed of certain market indicators that influence the way in which we may or may not be able to build, and you know how much production we may or may not be able to do. It is a work in progress. The more years we get of data, the more refined and useful this tool will become. It is currently, we're in a good place now, but the goal is to have like 10 years of data that we can look back on and see what the trends were and how it relates to our production. Just to give you a brief how this came to be in front of you on the board, so this has gone through REC a couple times this year. So we talked about the housing market data report process and our staff's plan for that in May. And then also that's when we first pitched the revision to the strategic aim formula. And then on June 11th, we gave them a presentation similar to the one you're receiving right now, along with our recommendations for next year's goal. So the housing market data report concludes with what's called a production forecast score. So this is similar to strategic aim. There is a formula involved. This formula was developed within Real Estate Committee. It is sort of a two-step weighting of metrics. And so, make sure I'm following along with my notes. Does the data point have a positive or negative impact on housing? That is a rating that is assessed to each metric annually, and we do a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being this is a great sign for the indicator, 1 being this is a terrible sign for the indicator and our ability to produce. The second step of the weighting is what impact of this data point, what does this data point have, how important is it to production? Some metrics are more important than others. So all of the metrics we use add up to 100%. We assign a portion of that percentage to each one depending on how important we've seen over time it to affect production. And then we also review the score alongside historical data to project our future production, and that's how we end up with a strategic aim goal. I'm going to blaze through these charts, but we have 5 metrics. The first is the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield. This relates to interest rates that we would get on our financing. As you can see, it's remained flat for a few years now at an elevated rate. The next one is a supply and demand sort of ratio for multifamily housing. It's net absorptions to completions ratio. We have seen an improvement in this metric this year. The third is the rent growth rate. That's self-explanatory. Rents are still falling, but at a lesser degree than they were before. And then this next metric is tax credit pricing. This is very important to keep in mind compared to how the industry was seeing this pricing in the past. It's continued to drop over the last several years to a place where a lot of deals are no longer feasible without substantial other interventions, such as tax exemptions or housing production fund money or things like that. And so 79 cents is fairly low. To give you an idea, just a few years ago, this was in the 90s. And so that limits our ability to attract equity to our projects that are like that. Historical housing market trend for housing production fund. Okay, so this is the chart. One of the metrics we use is how much housing production fund money do we have, because that, as we've seen this year, is substantial in attracting deals to strategic HFC. So the fund, as we all know, was funded in 2025 to 15 million. However, we were not in a position to deploy it until really early 2026 when we had our criteria for the fund together. And then we project, based on the work that was done in this room today, that we'll have a starting balance of around 5.5 million next year. And so that is informing what we think production might look like in 2027. This chart, we went into greater detail on this one in REC. There's a lot of data and information here, but this is basically where we start painting a picture of what the production forecast score is. That's the line in red, versus what is our actual aim achieved in those years. So we did not have goals in 2024, and our goal in 2025 was retroactive. So you see that there. You see in 2026, the darkest one is what our target was, and then our the lighter color is where we actually ended up after the deals that were approved today. And then in 2027, we are thinking we'll end up somewhere around 19,750 as a target. There is a high and low range to that. And so the high and low range to that is, on the low end, 10,000, high end, 29,500, which is similar to the production we've seen this year. I'll keep moving forward. So the target staff is recommending for next year is 19,750.
Except.
These large numbers are hard to conceptualize. You've been thrown a bunch of numbers in the tens of thousands or whatever, the thousands today. We recognize that. This is, when we piloted Strategic AIM, we had an original intention, and that was to have numbers that were somewhat comparable to unit counts, but of course it's not a production metric that is solely about unit counts. Along the way, we recognized that we were not appropriately valuing the impact of the years of affordability that make up this formula. That each year, in and of itself, is a universe of affordability. So a deal that has 10 years of affordability is 3 times less affordable than a deal that has 30 years of affordability. So we made a change to the formula. That's a formula we've been running with for the last year. We are now proposing a solution to kind of get us back to what our original intent was. And this is what our original intent, this is a snapshot from the original Strategic AIM slide deck presented in Real Estate Committee. And so this is all about developing a baseline. That's kind of where we started with Strategic AIM, of course, grown out of Cabay. What is the most standard affordable housing project we could undertake? And that's a 250-unit development consisting entirely of 1 bedrooms with rent and income restrictions at 60% of the area median family income for all units, of average design, and placed in an average location. I think you can think of some projects and where those might be. So this project would have a strategic AIM of 250 with a per unit AIM of 1. So you got a 250-unit building. Despite all our the priorities we have, it's about what we expect. So AIM lines up with the unit count. The current formula is shown here. So we take the number of bedrooms rather than focusing on unit counts. We take the number of bedrooms, we multiply that by a way in which we quantified the affordability of the unit mix. We multiply that by the number of years, as I mentioned, of affordability. And then we also do adjustments based on location, quality of construction, quality of design, things like that. So as you saw today, this is where we are with our numbers. We have, for Urbana Flats, 328 units, gets an AIM of 16,981. There's no real immediate relationship someone could see between those two numbers. So this is the simple formula change that we're proposing. Years still get valued. Every year does get their own appropriate value. We just normalize it based on what we expect for baseline, and that's 30, and I'll go into why that's 30. Did I go backwards or forward? Oh, okay, I see what I did. All right, so I'll say on this slide. So we did 30 because that is the required amount of affordability of a LIHTC project by the state. You cannot do 15 years like you can in some other places. You must do 30, and so that, like I mentioned, is baseline. That's our baseline expectation from affordable housing, is that it will be affordable for at least 30 years. So if we have a project that does less, it gets dinged for it, and we have a project that do more. Sometimes we have affordability unlocked projects that have like 40-year affordability periods. They get a higher score or higher strategic aim for that. And then this 30 just normalizes it so we get back to the numbers that we were thinking about when we formulated strategic aim. So again, this is that chart of where we're at today. And this is what the effect of the formula change would have if implemented. And so you see now it is more reasonable, it's more understandable, digestible. Runberg Flats, 199 units, but we have a strategic aim of 497. That means that it's delivering, in our view, based on our priorities, way more than just the units that it's putting out on the ground. Same with Urbana Flats, 328 units, but the aim is nearly double. Workforce housing with aim always tends to have lower aim compared to unit counts, but that is primarily due to the length of affordability and the depth of the affordability, although we do still see some deep affordability in workforce housing projects. And so the target the staff is recommending for next year is 650 aim. So 650 units of standard LIHTC housing, we can think about it like that, or we can think about a couple projects that are exceptional, that really go above and beyond. On the low end, 325, and then on the high end, 975. So our recommendations are three different things. One, we ask that you authorize the revision of the production metric, and from this day forward, we would then go using this new formula. Two would be to accept the housing market data report, similar to the what y'all did last year. And then three, to adopt a 2027 production goal with that 650 target, and then that low and then high end that I showed on the previous slide. And that concludes my presentation.
Great, thank you, David. The chair will now entertain a motion. Is there a motion?
I have a question.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Or do you want to wait for after the motion?
Motion, yeah.
Yeah. Done it both ways.
yeah.
We're good. I'll wait.
Is there a motion? Director Prince? Seconded by Director Groves. As we moved and seconded, the board approved voting item 5F. The motion before us is to approve the resolution as presented. I will now open the floor for questions.
Could you go back to the chart, David, where you converted to the divided by 30? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So where does it put us as of today's decisions?
Dun, dun, dun. Yes, as I previewed, we would meet our annual goal today, and the total is, well, I would have to do the division here.
So our goal would be 370 had we done this for this year. So our aim for a goal for this year would have been 371, and we are, this is going to be back of the envelope. Yeah.
At 1,000.
Yes, we are at 1,000.
We're at 1,000.
Yeah, a little over 1,000.
I was kind of
1170.
Yeah.
kind of oddly guessing something like that, but thank you for pinning it down. My question is, why would we revise our 2027 goal for AIM to be less than we've already met midway through 2026? Is there something I'm missing about the market analysis about why the projection is to be less than 2026?
Yeah, that's the goal is not less. The goal is, if I go back to...
Less than our current.
Yes.
Than our what
exactly.
we achieved.
Or what we've achieved,
Yes.
right. So I would say we overachieved this year. We may not be doing 3 deals of these types every year. But I want to the point of your question, the PFS is a work in progress. I believe we may not be weighing the housing production fund enough. And so that's a conversation I think we'll have in REC.
Can you say more about that?
Yeah, so housing production fund, I forget whether it's 15% or 20%, but in the housing market data report, we weighted it about the same as we weight some of the other metrics. However,
it's the lowest weight.
Yes, yeah, and that may be, we didn't really have a discussion about changing that. We just wanted to do the report for the second time this year and make it consistent with last year's. But I think we do need to, in future years, evaluate if we've weighted that too low. Because of what we've seen, we had at the beginning of the year a bunch of pause projects, weren't hearing from anybody about moving deals forward. As soon as we did some outreach about the Housing Production Fund, we've already unlocked 2 deals. There is a 3rd deal that may be coming that is not part of what's a part of today. And so that may be our most important metric of all, but we just have not implemented that for this year, and if we do want to make that rating change.
I would say I think that the goal is somewhat conservative, but again, to sort of to David's point, the production forecast score is quite volatile, right? In some ways. And so, there's no way the 2 LIHTC deals, that got approved today would have been before us had we not had HPF. So if we make another loan this year and we don't have a capital event that replenishes, it's just, we swing quite wildly. And so, I think we're trying to get experience and also think through, presuming we can continue to do, workforce deals. Well, if can you go back to what Skyview was around 100? Right, so it would take 10 Skyviews, right, to meet our goal next year, right? And so we just, I think, want to get to a place where we have a little bit better sense.
Yeah, and then I go back to this chart because this is, I think, how we envision that PFS is supposed to be used for it. You see that we had a goal of 1,100, and now the PFS has increased for this year. So that kind of informs that we should bring the goal up, but it does not inform us that we should bring the goal up 3 times. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why we don't set our goals based on...
So what do you think would be in between those 2?
Well, this is the staff recommendation. But the reason why we do not make our goals simply based on what we accomplished last year is because we have this PFS. And so you may have, and then we have the high and low ranges. So you may overachieve, you may underachieve, but as this gets refined more and more, this should be pretty accurate as to what we could expect.
I mean, I hear you. I think, it's not just about basing it on last year. It's sort of about, is our calculus off? Because, I mean, I don't think anyone would say we were feeling, super confident last year, or really that things are great now. I mean, these deals were not easy, even with the HPF, right? We really had to work them. And so, I think it's possible, and I think, I also will say, I am open personally if the board, would like to revisit these at the end of the year when we know more. I don't know. I think, but part of this, I think, is that we next month will be bringing to you some projections, hopefully, for our revenue. Some of that is related to, it's not all about the MOUs, which is what this is tied to, but obviously they are linked to some degree, and it informs the conversations we'll be having during the budget. Certainly I would like us to go ahead and get the formula change approved, because the brain damage.
Absolutely.
Do we know how much, I think it would be a quick calculation, but maybe not. Do we know how much per dollar of HPF we spent got us a point of aim?
No, we think that is part of a larger conversation that we wouldn't want to revisit in rec. The original intention was not to tie this, well, at least from what staff understood, was not to tie this to money. It's to tie it to, are we accomplishing mission? Without having done calculations, I am concerned about that metric, because I think it's going to tell you that you'll get more bang for your buck if we go do the standard project in Northeast Austin. The reason for that is if we're comparing, and I believe you're talking about the tax abatement, right? The tax abated value.
HPF.
HPF for point of aim.
Oh, per aim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have something else in my head.
How much bang do you get from HPF?
No, we have not done that calculation.
I will do it right now, but I will tell. So let me give you. Let's see if I can talk and calculate at the same time. But
Well, I just wanted to make a separate comment that I think is a little bit different, but just how AIM and HPF are currently tied together is the AIM score ties to the interest rate that is offered. So a lower AIM score equates to a higher interest rate. And so the two HPF deals you saw today were both offered at 5% interest rate, which is the lowest we're currently offering because of their very high AIM scores. So a little bit different than your question, but still.
Good to, thank you for pointing that out.
So, sorry.
Go ahead.
That's awesome that y'all are doing that kind of minute and close examination of all the factors that will help our partner and what we're getting for it. That's just extremely reassuring to hear how you're examining things. Yeah.
All right. Any further questions? Hearing none, I will now open the floor for discussion. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Director Altamirano.
I wanted to just relay one bit of information from our real estate committee discussion. In the discussion, I actually thought that the target was high. And there are two reasons for that. One was my relatively pessimistic interpretation of the 4.0. Things are still very bad. And on top of that, I add a sort of standard deviation based on the policy environment, the local market environment. And so from my individual point of view, I was like, oh, going up, that's good. That's aggressive. The second is our sport is more like soccer than basketball. An individual transaction, an individual goal makes an incredible difference to the outcome. And so in general, at this point, I always feel more comfortable with a straight interpretation of that 4.0, which is still kind of difficult, particularly because this year was both an accumulation of conversations that we've been having for a long time and the deployment of the HPF. One thing I do think, future boards should strongly consider, maybe not next year, but maybe the year after, but potentially next year, is a recalibration. I think that is part of a rigorous process, but I wanted to be, transparent that at the committee level, at least my voice was, thank you for upping the number, even though the uniqueness of the HPF deployment, of the projects in the hopper, and of the not accumulated pessimism of them about market environment had not fully aggregated. Now, I would not be surprised if we again or strategic wildly exceeds the target, and that will definitely feed into a recalibration. but I want you, my colleagues, to know that if next year we don't come close to 19, if we can just barely get one tax credit deal over the line using the full HPF, I would not be surprised by that outcome. Finally, on the workforce, we have set a high bar with these initial workforce deals, and I think that's a bar we should continue to keep.
Great, thank you.
So we don't want to go a bargain hunting to meet the target by doing a lot of what would now be, I guess, 30 HPF, sorry, 30 AIM, or three. Let me do the math here. There would be sort of 30 AIM deals just to kind of try and get over, because the workforce deals are the ones that, because they're not HPF dependent, give us the flexibility to get the transactions. And I think that one thing that I've learned this year in understanding sort of the incentives that we create as a board for the staff in our conversations is transactions are very important to our entity. And so staff is very incentivized to do transactions. So as a board, we have to be thorough about the quality and level of transactions we want. And I think we don't want to create a moral hazard where we are creating an incentive for bad workforce deals because we want to hit the production score. We still have a lot of learning to do. N equals 2, but I think the question of HPF calibration is going to potentially loom large depending on the results next year. So I'm very glad that you've identified it early, Director Winnick.
Great, thank you, Julio. Director Groves.
How much of the projection for AIM is tied into what we have in the pipeline, like prospect deals? Because I'm just thinking about the deals today. We've been working on these for a couple of years, right? So, I mean, I get we're looking at the production environment and that we're looking at sort of year over year where we were with AIM and where we think we will be, but I'm thinking about it really just executionable, like what do we have in the pipeline and what do we think is going to close in the next 12 months?
So just a important note, and this is something we spent a bit of time on as we created the tool, is that the AIM goal is based not on closed transactions, but on signed MOUs, just because, we would have had an amazing year, and then we lost everything that didn't close. Right. Sorry. So it's not perfect, but
And the creation of the target is not, or at least this year, was not influenced by prospective conversations we're having or deals that we think might be coming through. As of today, we are not projecting that that we don't have any deals that we think will hit MOU in 2027. We have maybe one or two we think will hit later this year, but we are right now unaware of what may come into MOU approval in 2027.
And I want to just say that's a good thing because we're only halfway through the year. So if we have projects that we think it's going to take us another 6 months to get an MOU negotiated, that's pretty lengthy, and there's probably some issues.
Something's wrong.
So the things we're talking, the other deals my team is working on right now, we're hopeful all of those will hopefully get to y'all before the end of this year. So so that's why we can't say what prospect MOUs we think will come next year.
Great, Director Winnick.
Can you, that's really great insight. Can you analyze what the trend is?
I don't feel like it's been very unusual past couple of years.
Yeah.
And I don't feel, honestly, since I'll just be hitting 2 years with strategic in October, that I feel like I have quite enough experience yet. I am optimistic based on kind of how things seem to be moving this year. But I don't think I have enough information to say, hey, I think we're really going to get, only one deal, one LIHTC, or 3.
I mean, I will say also, I think that, so let's say we get to the end of 26, right? And we have this is not something we have said we are doing, but let's say we say we're going to relook at, we're going to look again at our goals. And we go, you know what? This is just not, the production forecast score and what it sort of tells us is not meshing with our experience. I mean, that's a signal for us to look at that. I think it's going to take some time. I'm waiting for the day we get to do regression analysis, and, but it's going to be a minute probably before we have enough data for that to be meaningful.
Great, thank you, Diana. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we will now proceed to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, no. The motion.
Aye.
The motion carries. At this time, the board will now enter into executive session. Oh, I said aye. And pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, personnel matters. The specific item which may be discussed in executive session is agenda item 6A, related to the executive director evaluation process for 2026. Is there a motion to enter executive session? Director Winnick, is there a second? Director Prince, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The motion carries. We are now back into regular session at 3:25. There being no further business on the agenda, the motion is adjourned at 3:26. Is there a motion to adjourn? Director Groves, is there a second? Director Prince is now been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. Julio, I didn't hear.
Aye.
The motion carries. The meeting is now adjourned at 3:26.